No excuses tonight for Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're getting Minnesota at the right time. The Vikings have lost 7 games this year, all within one score, including just a few days ago to the rebuilding since 1957 Detroit Lions. The psyche for the Minnesota Vikings in the toilet. Big Ben, let's be honest, let's be fair, has played much better as of late. Now, don't misinterpret. I still don't think the Steelers are making the playoffs. I still don't think Big Ben is back. I still think this is a final year for Roethlisberger as a Steeler and in the National Football League. But they should be able to beat Minnesota based upon how both teams are playing. Ben to Deontay Johnson was a great fourth quarter combo in the huge win against Baltimore on Sunday. And the Vikings defense has been weak. Mike Zimmer is supposed to be a defensive guru. Honestly, I'm actually stunned that Zimmer's key card still works, and he's still coaching the Minnesota Vikings after Sunday's debacle. Mike Tomlin has done a really good job this year with the little talent that he has, and Tomlin, of course, headed to the Hall of Fame. Tonight is a major coaching advantage that favors the Pittsburgh Steelers. The game is gigantic. Both teams currently out of the playoff picture, but both think they're going to make a run. Frankly, I don't think either team makes the postseason when the wheel stops spinning. It's all there for the Steelers. Now go out and prove it. Move over, Broadway Joe. Mike McCarthy's in town. 4 days before the gigantic showdown in D.C., Mike McCarthy is calling his shot, guaranteeing a victory over rival Washington. I got to tell you, I love this. I absolutely love this. There's always so much stuff around the Dallas Cowboys. There's noise and nonsense, and the owner Jerry Jones making his fair share of both, creating drama. The NFC East is closer than it should be. Dallas got back on track, and for some, the win against New Orleans wasn't aesthetically pleasing enough. This, with those comments, is Mike McCarthy's way of controlling his own noise and message. Go on the road, beat the Washington football team. Dallas is better. You can let people like me say Dallas is absolutely a Super Bowl caliber team, and obviously I believe it. People like you can disagree with it. Mike McCarthy doesn't care about the conversation. He wants the results. He wants to focus on winning. Take care of business with a W, not with style points in the court of public opinion. And I expect Dallas, behind Dak Prescott, to not only beat the Washington football team this week on the road, I expect them to win in 2 weeks from now in Dallas. And so does Mike McCarthy. And the defense is always the glue when it comes to winning on the road. Great defense is portable. Micah Parsons dominating this season like no other. I just don't see Taylor Heineke and company getting it done. And listen, Mike McCarthy didn't need a fur coat or a lit cigarette to go full Namath here. He let his players know he wants a win. He demands a win. And the Cowboys will back it up. I guarantee it. Listen, Patrick Mahomes never points the finger at his teammates and always points the thumb at himself, even if it isn't warranted. Now, Mahomes was hardly vintage on Sunday nights against Denver. Also, Tyreek Hill needs to catch the ball when it's thrown to him. All can be true. And look, you got to remember, a few weeks ago in Vegas, Patrick Mahomes was absolutely incredible. He inspired and reminded everyone, in case you forgot, who he is and what he does. Mahomes has 5 touchdowns and 406 yards in the air. Represent the best game that he's played for Kansas City this year. It's also the reference point of hope for another Super Bowl appearance. It's also, if you're honest here, really odd on so many levels just how off the offense has been. Mahomes hasn't been great. Travis Kelce hasn't been great. Tyreek Hill hasn't been great. But the KC defense has been the best in the league since week 8, inspiring great vibes down the road and also predictions of glory. You know, the last Raider game has been that rallying point, that rallying cry. Remember Mahomes, right? Sunday's Raider game has to be the springboard to domination down the stretch and into the postseason. Needless to say, pinky injury and all, Joe Burrow has to be better Sunday versus the 49ers on CBS. And listen, he's got to do a better job protecting the ball. And Cincinnati needs to come out with greater urgency. Jamar Chase needs to catch it when it's thrown right at him. And I'm going to choose to believe that this was a learning experience for everyone. Now, they need to establish the run. The defense needs to continue to make plays and get the ball back to the offense. The offense needs to go through Joe Mixon. And I think Joe Burrow is going to have a dynamite game. This is one of the more intriguing games. Niners and the Bengals on CBS is loaded with playoff implications for both teams, wild card for both conferences. Joe Burrow, according to reports today, practiced and there was no issue with the pinky. Looked great, didn't have any kind of wrapping on it or any kind of bandage, and was able to zip the fastball. I still think Cincinnati's making the playoffs, and I still think Cincinnati is going to win the division, the most dangerous team in the AFC North, and I think that the Bengals are primed to make a gigantic statement on CBS, and Joe Burrow is going to be a major reason why. Wait, what? Pete Carroll, of course, talking to our good friends Jim Miller and Pat Kerwin on SiriusXM NFL Radio, and needless to say, because of that awful Jamal Adams trade where the Seahawks inexplicably gave up 2 first-rounders. In a related story, the Seattle Seahawks, there's no ambiguity or any question here. They need to trade Russell Wilson. They must trade Russell Wilson, and they need to do it earlier than later in the offseason. Remember, Matthew Stafford was traded before the Super Bowl even kicked, okay? Because take a look at this. They don't have a top pick because of the Jamal Adams trade. And we begged Seattle to trade Russell Wilson this past offseason. We said there was a 0% chance that Russell Wilson was going to be on the Seahawks in 2022, and you need to create an arms race. I mean, Russell Wilson, Hall of Fame quarterback, who absolutely still has many years left playing at that kind of level. And listen, I'm not convinced Pete Carroll is going to be there, but think about the laundry list of teams that should be in the mix for someone like Russell Wilson. I mean, we could be talking about the Eagles who have a lot of picks, the Giants who have a lot of picks. We could be talking about a desperate Carolina Panther team, Miami, a lot of picks, and obviously Tua Tagovailoa. You put them on the New Orleans Saints, and they're a Super Bowl caliber team. Put them on the Broncos, they're a Super Bowl caliber team. If Seattle keeps them, let me tell you something. They're a last place team with them. So it's time right now to break the whole thing down. They are an absolute mess. The Adams deal. We did a throwback Thursday, Pete Carroll, last week on Time to Shine. We said you got fleeced in the first place. And now, because you got fleeced with Jamal Adams, you need to use Russell Wilson, who wants out, demanded a trade last offseason, really wanted to go to Chicago. You need to make sure that you use Russell Wilson to get those draft picks back and trade him before Watson gets traded. Trade him before Rodgers gets traded, so you make sure that you get all the compensation needed and necessary for a full rebuild here for the Seattle Seahawks. The great Seahawks fans deserve it. Needless to say, keeping Trevor Lawrence happy should be the Jacksonville Jaguars' #1 priority. Let me tell you something. In an up and down year that really has not been all Trevor Lawrence's fault in any way, shape, or form, that soundbite right there was the shining moment of Trevor Lawrence's otherwise lost rookie season. Because Trevor Lawrence basically told Shad Khan in that simple soundbite, fire Urban Meyer. He destroyed Urban Meyer. James Robinson is his best weapon. Urban Meyer has no idea what on earth he's doing in any way, shape, or form. James Robinson should be out there, should be playing. And Urban Meyer, everything he's done, everything has been a failure this calendar year since Jacksonville hired him. From the beginning until benching James Robinson. So everything has kind of quieted down a little bit with Urban Meyer, but don't let that distract from reality. Look, I was wrong. I thought it would work. Shad Khan needs to realize he was wrong. Trevor Lawrence is telling you, fire Urban Meyer. He has no idea what the NFL business is all about. I see no way Urban Meyer is back in Jacksonville. Great job, Trevor Lawrence. I am obsessed with what the Patriots are doing in free agency. Now, you look at New England, I love what Bill Belichick is doing. This is not a drunken sailor approach. This is Bill looking at a barren roster that was atrocious last year, and we told you it was one of the worst rosters in the league. They only won 7 because Belichick is the greatest coach in the history of sports, and he said, we need new cats. We need dudes. This was spending with a purpose. Henry's a stud. Jonnu Smith the same. This tight end position was anemic last year. It's been a disaster ever since Rob Gronkowski left the building. And you look at Matt Judon, he's phenomenal getting to the quarterback. They improved at the receiver position, defensive line. Love that they brought back Kyle Van Noy. For Bob Kraft and Bill Belichick, this was absolutely worth it. Welcome back, time to shine. A lot of great stuff to get off my chest on a Thursday. What an epic throwback Thursday. We love the Patriots offseason. We love this spending spree in real time. And Bill Belichick, we kept using the expression, restock the old cupboard perfectly. And we said last year before the season there was a 0% chance they were making the playoffs, and they didn't. We said this year, of course they're making the playoffs. We guaranteed it. It was absolutely going to happen. And then you factor in my commentary right after they drafted Mac Jones. I said, Mac Jones is going to be the rookie of the year on offense, and this team's going to the playoffs. Now, they've even outkicked my expectations. I wasn't screaming Super Bowl, but I love this squad. And I love Matt Judon. And Matt Judon is absolutely in the conversation, like top 4 for Defensive Player of the Year. Listen, we had him on Time to Shine right before the Super Bowl, and we love his attitude, we love his style, love his knack for getting to the quarterback, and we knew he was going to be phenomenal for the New England Patriots. This is not a fluke. This was easy to see happening. This is the residue of a brilliant design by the architect, Bill Belichick. Got to get this off my chest. Boy, good luck trying to figure out the Tennessee Titans. Are they any good? I mean, off the bye, they have the Jaguars, and I'd like to think they're going to crunch them, right? I mean, I love Mike Vrabel. I believe in Ryan Tannehill. Tannehill was awful the last 2 weeks before the bye, and this team is just bizarre. I mean, look at some of the wins. They have knocked off playoff teams, some of the best teams in the NFL, some of the most tough to play against teams, including the Colts, by the way, twice, right? I mean, they lost against the Jets and the Houston Texans. That's illegal in most states. And look, I think they're going to beat Jacksonville, jokes aside, and I think they'll beat the Texans because they're not going to, overlook them. But those games against Pittsburgh, San Francisco, and the Miami Dolphins, those are games that are going to impact who's in, who's out, who makes the playoffs. Now, I think they're better than Pittsburgh, and I think they'll be able to get a W there, but Miami's piping hot. You know you got to bring your lunch every time you're playing a team like San Francisco. So I think this team has 3-2 down the stretch of the season written all over them. But listen, they lost to the Jets and the Houston Texans. And not having Derrick Henry changes the entire dynamic of everything. And obviously it puts more pressure on Ryan Tannehill. Getting Julio Jones, getting A.J. Brown back, gigantic, because, listen, I don't remember the Titans. I forget about them. When you start talking about teams that can make a run in the AFC, I don't give them any chance in any way, shape, or form of going to the Super Bowl. And they have a gaudy record. Hey, Tennessee, go out and prove me wrong.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell for more videos.